values-based activities, kind of like I've shown with like playing the piano and coloring and all this kind of stuff. But you're like, I don't even know where to start. This is what we're going to talk about today. So the very first thing is just figuring out your values and your important life domains. So let's start with life domains. So what is a life domain? Basically, it's a broad area of your life. So examples of this would be things like health, work, education, family, friendships, marriage or intimate relationships, personal growth, leisure. Anything like that would be a life domain. The tendency when we talk about values is people to jump right into life domains and then not really realize what values are. So while life domains can be very important to us, they are a little bit different than values. So our values are qualities of action. They're the ways that we treat ourselves, others in the world, or at the very least the ideal ways we would like to. Sometimes we can have a value but not fully be living by them. So examples of this could be things like compassion and kindness, adventure, fitness, monogamy, honesty, trust, etc., etc., etc. The list can go on and on. There's lots and lots of values out there. Another thing people get really confused on is values versus goals. So values are not goals, but goals can be based on our values. So let me give you an example of this. So one I hear a lot is money. So when I ask what values do you have, and they'll be like money, right? But money isn't a value. It's not a way I can treat myself, others in the world. Stability is a value, and stability under a life domain like work and education, right? That can, make sense that money can come from that, right? So money's a part of stability, but the value would be stability. The goal, however, like wanting to earn X number of dollars a year. So like say you wanted to earn $100,000 a year, right? So that would be a goal, right? And that goal, if your value is stability, would be based on your values, right? Really simple way to think of this is goals are things that you can achieve, and values are the way you want to live. So to come up with what our values are, we have a couple different ways. So one is that we can just ask ourselves some different questions. So you could imagine your own funeral, and what would people be saying about you at this funeral? What are the nice things? What do you want them to say about you? Another question you could ask is, if you inherited a big fortune, what would you do with all the money, right? On top of that, who would you be doing those things with, or those activities with, or spending the money on, or who would appreciate the things that you buy maybe? And also, in addition to that, how would you act towards people who were sharing this new life with you? Another way that you could, or another question you could ask yourself is, maybe think about a time that you connected really well with someone that you love and care about. What were you doing in that memory? How were you acting towards them? How were you acting towards yourself in that memory? Another question you can ask is, who do you look up to? Who are your role models? Who inspires you? And then what personal strengths or qualities does that person have that you admire? Now, the other way that you can figure out what your values are is to simply go on to Google and type in list of common values or values, right? List of values, and you will find these really, really long lists. Anywhere, I think the shortest ones kind of have like 20, and then they kind of go on and on and on. And so you can use this to kind of get your brain going of like, oh yeah, that is important to me, or that's really important to me, or that's not so important to me. And you can figure out your values that way. So I'm going to tell you a few of my values. This is not an inclusive, fully inclusive list. There's values that I have that are not in these examples, but here's just a couple examples. So acceptance and self-acceptance, adventure, caring and self-caring, compassionate and self-compassion, creativity, fitness, flexibility, fun and humor, gratitude, honesty, kindness, love, mindfulness, respect and self-respect. So a few examples of some of my values that I've come up with based on things like checklists and asking myself these questions. All right, everybody, Take care and keep making the most of it.